Welcome to the channel, guys. My name's Matt. I'm here at Level 4 Physio, Wellness, and Performance. And today we're going to talk a little bit about my current injury. You guys have been following me for a while. You guys know that I recently had ACL surgery about 3 weeks ago. And these fine gentlemen brought me in to find out more about how it happened and whatnot. So I'll go ahead and let them introduce themselves, and then we'll get started.
Alright, I'm Dr. Chris Inkstead, and I'm one of the co-owners here at Level 4 Physio Wellness Performance. Physical therapist, and I've been a PT for about 11 years. I've worked primarily in the sports realm and industry. I was a baseball player. I do jiu-jitsu, used to do a bunch of cycling, triathlons. I play golf. I like to hike. I'm a pretty active guy. I always like to say I'm the fittest fat guy that there is.
Oh, I might be in there with you there.
Yeah, you might be. So.
Hi, I'm Dr. Nick Raulino. I'm a doctor of physical therapy, so I'm a sports physical therapist here. And if you want to follow us, we're at Level 4 PT for Instagram and Facebook.
You guys have a website?
Yeah, level4pt.com.
Yeah. Any of the links, guys, you always know, they're always in the description down below. You know where I'm at, Instagram, Matt Lopez Official. So we'll just go ahead and get this thing started.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
Let's do it.
All right, so
what happened?
So I was playing basketball 2 years ago at LA Fitness here locally in Encinitas, and where a lot of the local pickup games are really good. You got a lot of kids in college and high school, like senior year, they're playing, so the games are really great. The team I was on, I happened to be the tallest guy on my team. Well, the guy I was guarding was like 6'4", 6'3".
It's not saying much.
Yeah. So, and I'm just shy of 6 foot. So I'm guarding him down in the paint, and I know the guy. We're good friends, and I know he's really good. I know he's way better than me, but I have my moments. So I'm defending him, and I'm using all my weight and pressure to try to keep him out of the paint because he just wills his way in there like it's nothing. He literally turns and dunks on me from time to time, and I get upset with it. So my main focus during the play when it happened was just like, I'm just going to keep him out of the paint. So before he got the ball, I was just really putting my body weight towards him. I had my left leg back kind of as a support, and then it just kind of hyperextended. And I was like, ooh, that didn't feel good. Tried to walk on a little bit, tried to make some movements. I'm like, you know what, this doesn't feel right. I got out of the game. I went home, I put ice on it, and I was like, man, I thought it was just a bad hyperextension. Well, long story, few months later, I graduated from the golf academy because I teach golf, that's my profession, and I got hired to work at Pebble Beach. I was working in Pebble Beach one day. I hadn't been running because I knew it was a bad thing. I put on a little bit more extra weight than usual because now I'm not doing that running activity. And I was at work one day and I heard a loud snap, and I literally just went straight to the ground. And I probably wouldn't say like max pain, but in some pain. That's when I really knew, okay, something really just happened bad. Because I could barely put any weight on it without feeling of my knee and leg doing this. And that was for about 3 or 4 days before I could start to put some weight on it. But that's how it happened.
So when that happened, what were you doing?
Like when it happened?
Yeah.
I was literally just walking up a small grade hill at work, going from the pro shop to the caddy barn to talk to my caddies. And I was just like, writing on my clipboard, and I'm like, oh, just right to the ground, like, oh man, what is that about?
Yeah, and it kind of seems like when you were playing basketball, it was, you strained it a little bit. You may have had some torn tissue there for the ACL, and then, it just takes a little bit of walking, and then snap.
Well, there's two different types of tears that happen with ACLs. So you have what we call contact and non-contact. So it sounds like you probably had a combination of the two, right? You initially had the original injury with some level of contact. You had some tissue damage. Things, when you go through the natural healing process, things become inflamed. You get swollen. You saw your activities dramatically decrease.
I didn't do anything for months.
You'll usually notice your muscles just start to atrophy. It's usually really evident in an ACL. And then all of that weakened state, literally walking up a grade, and it was finally the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yep. So, that's how it initially happened, and then that happened 2 years ago.
Okay.
So for the 2 years, I got diagnosed. I went to the Palo Alto VA Center because I'm a veteran. So they saw me, they did all the x-rays, the MRIs. The doctor came back, the sports doctor there said, yeah, you have a complete torn ACL with minor meniscus damage.
Okay.
Here's a brace. We're going to do surgery, but it's 7 months out.
Wow.
That's the earliest
Because
I could
of the
see.
VA.
Yeah, because of the VA.
Okay.
I go, okay, well, can I be seen out in town? Loops, holes, different. The process was so horrible that when I decided to move back down here, I was just going to reapply for this VA. Because I've always dealt with this VA before I moved up there, and they always did a great job in San Diego. The La Jolla and the Oceanside VA clinics do a really great job with their veterans. Timeliness, they're very understanding, and they have empathy for like our concerns, like we need to be seen.
Absolutely.
The Palo Alto, even though it was a very, very large facility, no one ever picked up the phone. Every time I left a message, I never got a call back. So it was a very oh my God, strut thing. And at the time, I was dealing with it.
Yeah.
I was doing small workouts, just like body weight stuff, little maybe resistance bands in the gym. Really staying off from any heavy lifting whatsoever. No jumping, no running, no side-to-side movements.
Even if you wanted to do that kind of stuff, could you do it?
No.
Or no? Yeah,
Like I tried once and I could, but it was like that feeling of the knee being unstable. And also there was a time where I went for like a side lateral stretch like this, where you have your legs out to the side.
Like groin stretch.
Yeah, and I literally went to this side here and it went, and I went back down to the ground. And that hurt more than the first time it happened.
Sure.
And I was literally laying in the middle of the gym, like crying, trying to hide my tears from the rest of the people working out. Like,
and they're probably like, he's sweating, he's enjoying his
where I was at, I was next to the wall, so I literally turned over to face the wall, like in pain, like holding my breath, making sure I wouldn't just belt out my pain, because it hurt. So that happened. So when that happened, that really got mentally, it was like, man, what can I do? Like I was literally doing just a side turn / kind of bend, and because it was pushing the weight that way, I don't know why. Like I feel that's like it caused it, and that was with a brace similar to this.
Yeah.
They didn't. It wasn't this big long brace, but it was still that. It still had the metal hinges.
Yeah,
it was still a knee brace.
So I want to ask you, going back to kind of what you were experiencing through the whole, call the VA.
Yeah.
Because that's a story we hear a lot.
Wow.
And that's something that we have strived to do differently.
Awesome.
Because we know, like a lot of people out there, we use this in our business, but we say it all the time, is the best thing to do is the right thing. The next best thing is to do something. And then the worst thing you do is do nothing.
Yep.
And what unfortunately happens, a lot of people do nothing, or the businesses that are servicing the people with the needs do nothing to help them out.
It's great. That's a great business.
So we are very strong in, hey, you give us a call, and if we don't answer, we're going to call you back within, we hope, same day. But sometimes people call later at night, and we're with people.
Absolutely.
But I'd like you to kind of even go a little bit deeper in kind of, because we call it an internal. These are internal problems that people have. The external problem is you couldn't get somebody to return your phone call. But how did that make you feel as a consumer, as a prospective patient, as just a human being in that situation?
I would say it made me more frustrated and angry, because being an active person, that it's just delaying. What do I need to do to fix it?
Right.
And every day you make a phone call, and then it's something else, and you're waiting, and you're waiting, and you're waiting, and that's still a longer wait of not getting back to where you want to be. So for me, it was a runaround with that system up there. Like I never got a hold of who I needed to get a hold of the first call. It was 9 times out of 10 when I was still dealing with it, I called the operator first and said, "Hey, this is my problem. Which department should I transfer me to?" Because I had no clue who to talk to.
Right.
The system up there was really just, they didn't have a good process for someone calling in. And I understand, and I'll say this because as being a veteran and understanding, it's a veteran service.
Sure.
They're limited in their resources, so they can only staff and do so much, so I get that. But then there still comes a point where, like, come on, like, there's got to be something in place where it shouldn't go longer than a week to get a call back from your doctor, and not just the doctor, just a nurse. With a message from the doctor, like, hey, this is nurse so-and-so calling for Dr. So-and-so.
I got your message.
We got your message, he heard you, here's his response. that makes me like 10 times happier because now I know, okay, he got it. He understands what's going on. Okay, I have to wait no matter what. This is the deal. Okay, cool.
Yeah, like you said, it's peace of mind.
Yeah.
Knowing that someone cares,
Yeah.
someone's going to listen, and really give you the attention that you deserve,
Yeah.
especially with something where I don't know what I can't do or what I can do.
Yeah.
Because like, let's say if you called Chris or I, we would have been like, we would have given you answers to, you know, what's going on, what can you do, and what you should do next in terms of, because there's like from a physical therapy, from a rehab perspective, there's prehab. There's things that we can do to prepare you for that next step, which is surgery.
Yeah, I didn't get any of that prehab information until I got back down here to this system. I had to go through the whole process all over again because the systems don't talk to each other. So they're like, oh yeah, we don't talk to that system up there, so you need to go through x-rays again, MRIs again, we do blood work again, you're going to see a new doctor again, which I knew that already. And then, but that was another wait. That was like, once I got the MRIs, it took 2.5 months to see the doctor from the MRI and x-rays for him to tell me and then expect the knee. That's when they said, okay, we're going to sign you up for pre-therapy. That's the first time in 2 years. I already went through the whole system up in Palo Alto. Nothing about pre-therapy. Nothing about, let's get you into pre-therapy. Let's get you start working with some bands and other stuff. No, none of that. Just straight. Get down here. That's why I say I like this system down here so much, because I get the time frame is a little long, but I understand because the resources. But they're like, okay, we're going to get you in pre-therapy. We got you scheduled for this.
It doesn't give you peace of mind knowing what the expectation is,
Absolutely.
right? Hey, we're going to put you in therapy, you're going to do X amount of visits, you can do it
Yep.
this long.
Absolutely.
It's going to be 3 months before you have surgery.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least then you're going, okay,
Yeah.
at least I know what the map looks like.
Yeah, no, it definitely gave me peace of mind when they gave me my timeline. When they said, okay, you're going to do some pre-therapy here for the next month. And then there's going to be some time in between where you do your own therapy, because that's all they can do. And then you'll have your surgery. And then we'll get you slated right into physical therapy, which I'm actually starting on Friday. It is my first day, so it's almost 3 weeks out from the surgery, and that's to tell you how long they're backed up. That may tie into the next question is would I mind being seen by maybe a place like this? Yeah, I do actually, because it's 5 minutes from where I live. Peace of mind, I don't have to sit in traffic. Because the options I have are La Jolla or Oceanside, the VA clinics. And Encinitas, we're right in the middle, and the criteria, unfortunately, is you have to live within outside of 40 miles, which we're not, or they can't see you within 30 days. So I called, and I was like really trying to harp on it. And normally I'm not somebody who's like trying to pull strings and like get like because my wife right now, we got lucky enough. I started driving yesterday to test it, so I'm mobile. I can do my own thing.
Yeah, you're independent again.
The first 2 weeks, it wasn't that way. It was my wife had to take me. Anytime I stood up, the blood rushed to my knee, and I could feel it. I was like, oh, this hurts so bad. But now this week has been a lot better. I'm not on the pain meds anymore. I'm taking maybe 2 pills of Tylenol a day, just maybe right before bed. And I'm staying the pain. I'm putting more weight on it. But I was like, yeah, I just really, I normally wouldn't press, but can we get it somewhere closer? Can I see someone outside? And the 3 people I talked to all said you have 2 criteria, one or the other, and that's it. There's no exceptions to the rule. So I go, okay, that's a bummer, because I would really like to stay within the city here and work, because I'm not saying that they don't have good service. It's just that 30 minutes there, 30 minutes there, we're right in the middle. Traffic, the hassle, as we're 5 minutes around the corner.
Well, and I think the distance is sometimes a realistic factor for people, you know, especially we're not as bad as say Los Angeles, where you drive 10 miles and it takes you an hour, which is where I'm from originally, so I can appreciate it. But you have the convenience factor, you have time, because that's ultimately what it saves you, right? It's time.
It's the time.
And that's the one thing we always talk about is like the largest asset any of us have in our lives is time.
I agree.
We can never get it back. So what is it that you want your life or quality of life to be like in that time? Because we have conversations with people in your situation that are like, well, because we're a self-pay model. So we're not considered in network with any insurance companies. So we deal with people that are going, you know what? I don't care. I just want to get this done. I want to get over with now.
Oh, nice.
And so we are not at the mercy of, say, an insurance company or the system that says, do it this way.
So for me, like legitimately, like how does that work for me? Like if I'm coming in, I want to get some physical therapy here. How does that work?
Yeah, so you schedule an appointment just like anybody else.
Okay.
So we're a direct access state, which means you don't have to have a prescription. You don't have to go see the doctor. You've already seen a doctor, so it'd be really easy to call your doctor up and say, hey, we're going to be seeing him for more than 12 visits or 40 days. So let's get the script so that we can validate it. But hey, we need to give him the care that he needs.
But I think he brings up a good point. We're going to call the doctor. We're going to talk to him. We're going to try to reach out and try to understand, the continuity of care. And it's like what Chris said. It's really that time. Because so you have to commute downtown. Okay, let's take 40 minutes, 10 hour. If you're on rush hour. Your appointment, let's say, with another healthcare professional's 20, 30 minutes. And then you have to commute back. So it's a time-consuming, frustrating trip. With us, you're coming through the door and we take care of the rest. And we make sure
we take a very proactive approach. If you look at the way our systems are currently in medicine, we do a really good job at helping people when there is a problem. What we don't do so well is helping people before the problem comes on. It's like diabetes is one of the largest epidemics in America right now, and obesity is going through the roof. And the problem is, it's a multifactorial, so we could talk for hours, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. I've had an ongoing argument with my wife because I have 2 little boys. Just a side note is, even though I grew up in an era where fast food was quick for my parents to get growing up in Texas, I said that's one thing I don't want to give my kids to a certain age. I want them to grow like the first 10 years. If we can do our best, no fast food whatsoever. They can have some sugars and some candy outside from the grocery store, but none from a fast food restaurant. Can we do that, please? And she's all like, well, it was easy to get him the chicken nuggets because I had a long day. Like, I get it, but babe, like, come on. So, but I hear you with the obesity. Like, that's where it starts.
But the problem is not just with the fact that the system doesn't understand that those problems happen. It's the fact that the system just says, oh, you know what, you have diabetes now. Here's a medicine for it. And then before you know it,
what is it? Well, there's a term. I was listening to a podcast about that the other day, about they're just the medical health industry just prescribes to fix the problem instead of the solution. There's there's something. What is that called?
I don't know what we call like sick care.
We
only take care of you when you're sick.
Rather
than when you're healthy. Oh, we'll just check a couple boxes. Okay, come back to me when you're sick. So again, it's that prevention.
And so because we're movement specialists, we again are taking, and we've all worked in the insurance system. And part of the reason why we started this company was we wanted to do something different. We wanted to do something that we were no longer, I don't want to say victim, but we were always fighting for the patients, but the insurance companies don't support your decisions. And sometimes you would win, but 9 times out of 10 you lost. And even though you know the patient would benefit, we weren't able to get them the care that they needed.
And I can see that ultimately who loses at the end or who suffers is the patient.
Well, and the unfortunate part is they don't think what's the long-term implication. Because let's say you never end up having surgery on your knee. There's risk if you get early onset osteoarthritis. So now at 40 years old or 50 years old, they're like, you got a 65-year-old knee. You need a knee replacement. And so what we end up doing is, like, I use the analogy of like your knee is like the tires on your car. If you have bad tires because the alignment is off, you can change the tires, but the alignment is still off, right? The problem is the alignment. And as human beings these days, society has driven us. I mean, like, we're sitting down right now. We should be standing up.
We should be standing up, right? Come on, guys.
We can't.
I could,
but it's like things within our lives now, we're so fixated to these like stationary positions, and as humans, we're made to move.
That's and that probably ties into with golf, which is one of the things because I got TPI certified. I don't know if you TPI Institute. And level 1 certification, they talk about that. 80-90% of Americans, they work at a desk.
Correct.
And what do? They drive home. What do? They sit in a car for hours. Well, the
We
hamstrings
did
and all this up here is super tight. So when they get out to the golf range that week for the one time and they don't stretch and they wonder why their posture and everything else is off and their backs are hunched over, and it's because the way they sit the entire week. That's why I always advocate to walk when I can at a golf course.
Right.
Unless you're playing the crossings. I don't know if you played the crossings.
I haven't played there yet.
You can't walk it.
Encinitas Ranch, I'll walk.
Yeah, Encinitas you can walk.
Yeah.
Crossings, they won't allow you to walk because between, I forget the holes, but between 2 holes, it's literally a mile and a half you drive in a golf cart, and it's like big hills through to get to the next hole, so you can't walk it because the amount of time, it's just too much. But I always advocate at a course, if you can walk it, because throughout the day you're actually going to play better golf. You probably attest to this because all your muscles are loose, they're activated, you're warmed up instead of sitting in the cart waiting for your partner to hit, and you're sitting there, muscles are getting tight, and you get out again, and it's just this whole extra dynamic people don't understand.
Not to digress, but I think sometimes I actually play better when I walk. Because I have to focus on the ball because I don't want to walk any further.
There we go.
Right? When I'm in a golf cart, I'm like, I hit it somewhere over there.